So how to repeat that, James?
No.
God damn it, I tried.
Saying.
I tried. Yesterday, sometime, recently on a... Fuck, I can't talk.
I'm right
Shit.
here. Like, it's okay. Not like you're alone.
Yeah, true. Um, Yesterday morning, I think it was, because I saw it last night, there is a Australian NBN channel, the news channel known as Today, where they get a specialist psychologist and her male psychologist who doesn't talk in the entire fucking interview, talking about how Fortnite is
He
the new
laughs.
addiction. He laughs, and he keeps looking at the kids, mind you. He
I think
keeps
he's a
looking
pedo.
down at the kids. I'm like, boy, you don't think I can notice that?
That shit
Anyway,
looks
this...
pretty rapey to me.
it looked a bit weird. This woman known as Sandy Ree is a psychologist, so she studies people and all that bullshit. So you'd assume she knows her shit, but she doesn't, because all she does is she talks about how Fortnite is ruining children, how Fortnite is becoming too addictive for children. The problem with that is that they have two kids in that room with tablets or iPads or whatever the fuck it is these days,
Like
watching
iPhones or
Fortnite
something, yeah.
gameplay. I'm like, you're talking about the addiction, yet you have it right in front of you, with the parents nowhere in sight. That I find fucking funny. One of the kids, both of them young boys, probably, I don't know their age, both under 10.
But, I don't know. Well, they're
Um,
probably under 10, probably like 8, between 8 and 10, I'd
Yeah,
say.
something like that. The youngest one probably being 8. So one kid is always has his eyes glued to the tablet, always, never looks up. Whereas the other kid, he looks like a sweet kid. He looks up every now and then. He knows he's on camera. He sees the camera, and he fucking blushes and smiles. So you know that then...
He's probably got stage fright. Probably the first time he's ever been on TV, and he's just like, oh god.
Yeah, he kind of had that look on his face. So
He's just
her
like, I'm gonna look back at
argument...
this when I'm older.
Yeah, her argument is that Fortnite is becoming too addictive for children, and that it's pretty much the same or don't blame the parents, blame the gaming, because violent games didn't exist before Fortnite, right?
Lol jokes. Have you not heard of the game Doom? Or
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat?
exactly.
Mortal Kombat. Mortal
Doom.
Kombat's a great example. That game is stupidly violent with just it like it's gotten to the point now where that game is literally only played because of the absurd violence. Like, it's too violent for any other means.
Mhm. Like in
Sorry, continue.
Doom, no, you're fine. Doom is a excellent example as well, because in the trailer you can see that it's violence. But the thing that these psychologists, they study the kids, but they know fuck all about the game. They know fuck all about it, so they're blaming it. Like, we all, millions of people, millions of us, even our parents, we grew up watching violent movies. We grew up watching violent horror movies. We grew up watching violence on the news every single morning. We grew up playing violent games, yet we're fine. This is off topic, but still on the same topic. The whole thing where the Prime Minister and government blames terrorist attacks on games as well. Have they even checked any of those criminals to see if they even played a game in their life? None of them look like gamers to me. None of them had a console PC game in their house. So if none of them even played a game, how can they put the blame that video games is the reason why terrorist attacks exist? These are all men above most of them I think, above the age of 30, and most of them are around 40, 50 years old. They are just fucked in the head. There is no way that you can connect them towards a game unless they I can't say that for that word for the...
Specifically?
Yes, thank you. I can't say the word for the love of my life.
I
There's
know that
no
feeling.
way that they can tie any of those shooters to a game unless they had a PC or console game in their house. If you can't make that tie, you can't do that blame. But they do it anyway because it's the most simplest and laziest thing for them to fucking do. With the parents
It's
and the
an easy
kids,
explanation.
it's not the game's fault. Fortnite is violent behavior. Fortnite's not a violent game. Like,
Really not. It's very cartoonish and stylized.
yeah, like compared to H1Z1 and compared to PUBG, it is the
Compared to
least.
even just COD.
Yeah, it is the least violent game. That is a very nice ship behind me as well as pink and blue. I was going to wait now buy ship. But like Overwatch is also another example. Overwatch, the game itself is not a violent game, but it has some of the most brattiest kids I have ever come across. And it just goes to show that it's the parents' fault because the parents don't control what their kids do. They don't control what they say, they don't control how much time to spend online. And you can tell that they're online and gaming, doing whatever they want, saying whatever they want when the parents are not home. Because 3 instances, I think, maybe 4, I'm not sure. In videos that I've uploaded, I've had kids be absolutely brutal towards me. In one match, I had 2 kids, assuming they were friends because I said each other's name a lot, being absolutely brutally toxic towards me, attacking my personal life, attacking my hobbies, attacking my love life, and attack me just because I'm a girl. That's all. That's the only reason why they're being toxic to me, just because I'm a girl. There's another video where this is when the newest Catch the Flag map came to the game, and everyone was just playing it just to see how the game was, how the map was, sorry. And this one kid, he was quiet for the first part of the match, but you can hear him mumble every now and then. We're like, that's fine, he's not really doing anything. But towards the end of the match, he must have come out of his fucking shell and started to call everyone a cunt for no reason. He was just calling all of us cunts for no reason. And again, I was the only girl in the match, as far as I knew. And then at the end of the match, he realizes this. He says the exact words. And mind you, this is a child. Someone who is under 15, probably under 12, by the sound of his voice. Are you a girl? Oh, you are? You're a slut. I'm going to rape you. He says that shit because he knows he can get away with it. He knows his parents will never see the video, but God forbid, I hope they do one day. He knows he can say shit like that because his parents probably don't care that he plays games. They probably don't even care to say that stuff. There are parents out there who have the thinking mindset of, oh, it's only an online game, therefore they can behave however they want to. They can say whatever they want to. In 2 matches, me and a mate of mine, Templar, and a few of us have come across a player known as Scarce Killer, who is, to this day, still the most toxic kid I have ever met. He was toxic towards the entire team in ways that I didn't think a kid could be toxic. And yet again, he was probably doing it because he knew he can get away with it because his parents doesn't monitor him. That's another problem.
Keep an eye on him.
Yeah, that's another problem is that parents, if they're not home and you give your kid access to play games online, that's not the game's fault, that's your fault. Because you're giving them the gateway of just being a cunt online. You were saying, James?
I'll say they do realize that, like, this is both on console and PC, that there are parental control systems to avoid that, to stop kids from going online when they're not supervised, going on games not supervised. When you create an account on a PlayStation, for instance, right? So based on PS4, it asks you, do you want parental controls? And in saying that, it also says, okay, do you want things that are locked or unlocked or available or not available? And that's the same on PC as well. You can literally put passcodes on your computer. You can put passcodes on your internet. You can put passcodes on all sorts of things in there as long as you're the moderator of the admin of that computer. So
Exactly.
there's easy ways for parents to control their kid, not control them, but keep an eye
Control their
on them
behavior
to,
as well.
yeah, exactly. But the fact of the matter is, the parents are so negligent these days, and that can come up to multiple things. That could be things like the parents are just too busy because they're always working. It could be things like just like too many kids they can't control or look after them. It could be all sorts of different things. Everyone has their own issues and their own problems in their personal lives, but the fact of the matter is, it's not the video game that's the issue. It's the parents and the parenting practices that they have is what the issue is.
And another problem is that, like games with Overwatch and COD, you have to buy those games in order to play them. And no 12-year-old kid is going to use his own money. He's going to use mummy's or daddy's credit card to buy that game. So again, the parents, because whenever I buy a game, when I was younger and I was buying games, my mum would always look at the game. She'll look at the age restrictions. She'll look at the game itself. Like when I wanted to buy StarCraft 2, she looked at the game. She saw the Zerg, and if you don't know what Zergs are, they are just like creepy
Stupid characters,
alien.
aren't they?
They creepy aliens is what they look like, and they can look a bit scary. And she asked me, "Are you sure you want to buy this? This alien looks a bit scary." And I then to proceed to tell her that yes, I'm aware of what it looks like. I've looked it up online. I can show you a video of the game if you're more curious. And then therefore she brought me the game. And
You're like, yeah, but I'm a tough ass bitch. No aliens can scare me.
exactly. And like that's another problem as well is that these parents are just buying all these games for these kids, not looking into the age restriction, not looking into the game itself. There are games, sorry. There are
They're not
parents,
doing research. That's the
yeah.
problem.
Like they're buying COD for them, not realizing that kids shouldn't be play it. They're playing Doom for them, realizing that there's no swearing in it, but the blood and gore of it, holy fuck.
That's the
Don't
thing.
buy that
COD
for your
itself.
kid.
I can say COD is actually a really good example because most of the Call of Duty games have been, yeah, M or MA, so you can somewhat get away with it. But like Black Ops 3, for instance, and I'm assuming Black Ops 4 will be quite similar.
Yep.
It was that game is R rated. You want to know why? Because within the first 10-15 minutes of the campaign, the character you're playing gets their arms ripped off, and you watch it happen. Like that sort of shit, it's too violent. There's weapons in that game where you shoot someone and they literally explode into little bits. Like that sort of stuff. And that's why it's R rated, and it's R rated for a reason. There are ratings for reasons. But parents just go, nah, should be right. So it can't be that bad, it's just a video game. Like, no, it's worse, it's more than that. And that's what the issue is.
Mm.
Bad parenting, not bad games.
Pretty much. That's just pretty much what
James,
it is.
2018.
Quite of the year. This, cause like,
Sorry. I'm playing games, okay? I don't want to die. I'm trying to
the
keep
most
quiet as much as possible.
the most manliest scream ever. But then again, I can't say that because Temp and he screams. I love you, Temp. I swear. Um,
Don't worry. It's not like he'll watch this, or he might. No, I'm kidding. I hope he will.
he probably does. I don't know these days.
I do. I keep an eye on your videos. Anyway, back to topic at hand.
Thanks, fam. Um,
Ow.
but yeah,
Ow.
like to pretty much sum it up, never blame the game. Even if you can, parents will use the excuse, like you said, oh, but I'm too busy with this, too busy with that. You are never too busy to spend time with your kid. You are
You
never
have a
too
child for a
busy
reason.
to talk to your kid. If you keep saying, oh, I'm too busy to this, I'm too busy for that, why do you have a child in the first place? Right? If you're that busy with your life that you can't have a 1 minute, for heaven forbid, a 1 minute conversation with a child, then why the fuck did you have one in the first place? You buy your child all these games, a TV, a Xbox, PS4, PC. You buy them all the shit. You buy them all these clothes, no matter how expensive they are. You spoil them like a motherfucker. Yet you always use the excuse that you can't talk to them? What? That makes no sense. But for the parents out there that literally have no time to talk to the kids because they have work and meetings and whatever else that parents do, then talk to other parents who have children that play games. Don't say you have time for that, because I know you do. I know you do. You always have time to talk to your other friends that have kids. Because you know, all the mothers at the coffee shops having their lattes and coffees while their kids running around and making a mess of the place. I know that shit happens every day. Talk to them. Maybe get them to say something to your child. If you have a therapist or psychologist that you see yourself, talk to them about the child. Have them say something to the child. You can't, because some parents I've actually overheard when walking, they are blaming that their teachers are not doing anything about it. It's a school, love. It's a school's job to teach them about real stuff, not about games. That's your fucking job, Miss Lazy Asshole. Because, like, this psychologist on the news report, Sandy Ree, I have to forcefully stop myself from tweeting at her, yes, because with your job it's easier to blame the game that you know nothing about than to blame the parents themselves. You study people's behaviors, yet you neglect the parents' behavior with the child. I've come so fucking close to tweeting that at her. I'm just, oh god. She may be,
No, it's what
props
she
to
wants.
her.
She's a troll. It's what she wants.
She may
Don't give
be
in.
a good psychologist or psychiatrist, whichever one it was, I couldn't read it properly. She may be good at her
Whatever,
job.
yeah.
Yeah, she may be good at her job. I give props to her. But don't talk about games. But this is to any. I just saw someone die. Feels bad.
Rip.
The name just dropped. If you are a psychologist or therapist or psychiatrist and you're talking about kids' behavior with games, only do that if you know about the game itself. Only do that or use that excuse if you know about gaming itself. If you have a pet, like, this might not happen, but it will because there's the amount of people in the world. If you have a patient who is a mother or a child and they talk about their addiction of gaming, ask about the game. Ask about what's the age restriction of the game. Ask about what the game is like. If they don't say anything, then ask the child themselves, because 10 out of 10 they'll probably talk about it. If they don't, get the name of the game and look it up yourself, because then you'll be able to see all the ins and outs, literally the insides and outsides of everything. And
If it's a popular
Fortnite
enough game,
is,
there'll be enough YouTube videos online enough to give you
yeah.
all the information you need about the game, how it's played, and everything.
Yeah, the only reason why Fortnite is in the news is because out of all the games out there, it is the most popular game among the children. Because all
And
their
the reason why
favorite,
it's because it's easy to get.
yeah, it's easy to get. It's on console and maybe PC. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't seen any videos of it being on PC. It's free to play, so they don't have to worry about
But
the parents buying
Fortnite
it.
is on PC.
It is? Oh, well,
Yeah.
fun fact. I didn't know.
Most YouTubers who play it are on PC.
Oh yeah, because like on speaking to their favorite YouTubers are playing the game, so they play the game half the reason in hopes to run into their favorite YouTuber. Same thing when it goes for the Twitch streams. Their favorite streamers are playing the game, so they play the game. They're not playing it because it's a violent game. If they wanted to play a violent game, they would play Doom or COD or Mortal Kombat or something like that. They're not going to turn into a violent kid because of the game. They will turn into violent kids because the parents don't control them. They don't give them set times as to how long they can play the game. That's why if you try to suddenly get them off the game, they will scream abuse at you. I know that sounds a lot, but trust me, what I've heard in
Trust
games
me, grow a
myself,
pair.
pretty much.
If you're a parent and you can't handle your kid yelling and screaming at you, grow a pair and deal with it, because that is just part of parenting.
Because the thing is, if your kid is going to be kicking and screaming at video games and you're saying that that's the addiction, that is the game's addiction that causing that, then what about the times when the kid is kicking and screaming, throwing a tantrum, in the kid's store, in a kid's play store, because they couldn't get the toy that they want, or because you just gave birth to your son or daughter and they're screaming their head off. What's causing them to behave like a brat? The birth, the fact that they can't get a toy. Kids scream and kick their shit at everything. If your kid is a big enough of a brat, they'll do it to the age 16, if not older, if the parenting is that bad. Like, there are movies out there that are more violent than games. News channels are more violent than... You don't see it on TV because they don't air it on TV. But if you go on the right... Fucking hell. If you go on the right websites online, you will find the most goriest or violent of shit out there that exists on news channels. And the blaming on video games need to stop. It's ridiculous. It is fucking amusing that these news channels and these psychologists claim that they know everything, but they don't, because they literally do no research on anything. I mean, now teachers would know more than you. So, I guess the moral of the story is, if your kid's behaving like a brat, be a parent to them, not a robotic nurse.
It's pretty much what video games and TV is. Like, yes, when I was a kid, I watched a lot of TV and I played a lot of video games. But the thing is, it was in moderation. Mum and Dad only let me play games at certain times of the day. Mum and Dad only let me play certain types of games. Like, for instance, I actually never played Mortal Kombat until I was about 16. I would have loved to play it when I was younger, but my mum hated violent games. GTA, I only was able to play GTA when I was at a friend's house because he had it. Other than that, that's it, because my parents were like that, and I'm kind of fucked up because I'm just a weird person. But like, you know, I turned out pretty alright, I guess.
Because
But like,
yeah, go on.
it's not about the game, and you can't blame the game because you can control the game. You can control how much exposure your children are having to that game, or the games, or even better, you can control what games they just have in general. Parents need to realize that they are the parent, they are the child. They need to take not responsibility, but like they need to just what's the word? Take authority. That's it. They need to show
Yep.
authority and force. Some parents are like, oh, I don't want to force my kid. Oh, I don't. I think that's
Sometimes you just
rude. I
have
think
to.
that's mean. It's just like it's like the thing of smacking a child.
Mm.
Oh, you shouldn't hit your children. It's like, well, if they're
It's
being a
discipline.
little brat
I
and
got
they
smacked
need
at the kids when
discipline,
I
then
was
go
younger,
for
and
it.
I'm fine. I got disciplined
Exactly.
as a child and I was fine.
Yeah, my mum broke the fucking wooden spoon on my ass.
Mm. Like,
I
with
laughed
my
at her being a
parents at their
smartass about it, and she
schools.
turned around and got a metal one out.
Yeah, whenever my mum got in trouble in school, she got the old ruler on the wrist. But everyone in the class got that, yet she's fine. She's a nurse, she's a rehab nurse, she's like, the nicest person you ever meet. Like, discipline is
Ow,
not a
ow,
bad thing.
oh. Fucking vigilance wing. I swear to God, that gun
It
just
feels
needs to be
bad.
nerfed.
It's annoying. But yeah, so just do your
Sorry.
job as a parent is... How hard is it to be... If being a parent's too hard, don't have a kid. Have a pet dog. They can't play games. They may get addicted to balls and bones and treats, but you can't control that. As say as my dog is fat. Yeah.
Doggos are great. Oh, and kitty cats. Don't forget kitty cats. Kitty cats are
Yeah.
cool too.
Kitty cats are great and doggos are better.
We're not animalists here. I know that's even a thing.
I don't think it is. But yeah. Anyway, I think that's
Well,
all
if it
I have
wasn't
to rant
before, it
about.
is now.
Good John James. Do you have any last say on the topic, James?
Um, Society is violent at the end of the day, so you can't blame games for that.
Yeah, true.
Like I said to you guys last night when we were playing, I think we were playing Overwatch at the time. At the end of the day, back in the 1800s, families used to go out and watch like public beheadings as a family outing. Like, I don't think you can get any more violent than that. The fact of actually watching someone die for people's enjoyment. Like, there's like, yes, there's violent movies out there and TV shows, and I love those type of movies and TV shows.
In the
But
Roman
like,
times, families would go to the circle stadium thing, or whatever they called it back then, and they would watch people get
Colosseum.
mauled to death by lions.
Why you always lying? Sorry.
God, you had to put that in. But yeah, so
That made
long,
me nervous.
hundreds and hundreds of years ago, families would watch actual deaths in real time with so much blood
No
and so
special,
much stuff.
no
All real
special
shit.
effects.
No
No fakeness.
CGI. It's an actual thing that happened. If you don't believe us, you can actually look it up yourself because it's history.
Don't believe me, just watch.
Literally. Literally that.
Woo, victory.
Yep, but I think that's enough ranting for today before I get even more mad at how dumb people can be. But yes. Ciao.
Toodles.